So the first thing we are going to talk about is how can we challenge cultural traditions that support female genital mutilation while still empowering communities to protect and value girls.
Okay. First and foremost, like I like to I always try to draw the intersection between FGM, child-based
Yeah.
marriage, and
Yeah.
gender-based violence, because they are three monsters. I call them the triad of violence. One supports the other. They do not stand in isolation. So we cannot challenge one and leave the others. The three of them have to be tackled. And because where FGM, for instance, where FGM, they're all aimed at social control, but those are larger conversations. So yes, how do we challenge this? We challenge this
No, can
first
you
and
can
foremost
you give
by
us like an
attacking.
overview? Can you give us an overview of how you think they are interconnected before you like answer the question? Can you give us like an overview of the the
Okay,
intersectionality behind these three, how they are connected, and then we can go ahead
okay,
and
yes.
enter like the question. Yeah.
First and foremost, FGM. What does FGM do? FGM is, for those who don't know, is female genital mutilation. Though a lot of people wrongly call it circumcision, it is not. Because when people call it female circumcision, it underplays and it undervalues. It minimizes the harm, and it kind of invalidates what it actually. So it is actually mutilation, not circumcision. So yes, FGM is the mutilation of a woman's sexual body part to minimize to reduce her libido, and to make her keep her pure for marriage. So basically, FGM, from the cultural standpoint, it is not done for the benefit of they believe it's done for the benefit of the woman. It's aimed at it's promoted by cultures that promote purity culture. So it is believed that the FGM will make her pure for a future partner, and will keep her chaste. Will keep her not running after men. In layman's term, we keep her. So, and they're basically preparing her for child marriage, because as soon as a lady is deemed to have had her circumcision, which is like a rite of passage. So now you've been circumcised. Now you are now a full-grown woman. Even when she's just 8 years, even when she's just 7 years old, even when she was 10 years old. Even from the minute she's I was circumcised when I was about a few days old, about 7 days old. So from that point onward, it's believed that you are already ready for marriage. As long as you have been circumcised, you are ready for marriage. And so, as soon as the lady is circumcised, the next thing in most communities, especially these low-income households, she's now prepared for marriage. And as soon as a desirable partner who can come and alleviate, because of course her marriage is not just a charity thing; it is done for economic reasons.
Yeah.
Yes, she's married off and they get a ton of cows. She's married off and they get some bags of rice. She's married off and the father gets some amount of money with which he used to marry another. So she is more like a trade by barter thing, with no regard, with no recourse, with no consideration for the woman, for the child in the entire dynamic. So she's now married off to another partner, to a much older partner. From the minute she's married off, of course, her education has already been cut off. From the minute she's married off, let's say she was learning a job, that job has already been. So from the minute she's married off, she loses her economic independence. She loses financially. She's of course, educationally, she's no longer at par with her colleagues. She has no verifiable skill. She has no any skill. She has no any potential. So she's now totally dependent on another human being. And of course, when you're married, the next thing that comes is how to start raising children, how to become a family. Yeah. And then what happens when a human being is totally dependent on another human being for her upkeep? It predisposes you to abuse. It predisposes you to violence. And when you are rebellious, of course, you get slapped, you get beaten, you get emotionally abused. So it predisposes women to gender-based violence, because her entire sustenance, her entire upkeep is totally dependent on another human being. So that is where I always like to draw the interconnection.
Yeah.
They are all
Very connected.
FGM prepares you for a lifetime of servitude, whereas the FGM and all of them, they are all social controls. It prepares you. The marriage, the child marriage institutionalizes it, and the gender-based violence, what it protects and enforces these harmful narratives. Yes. So again, at the end of the day, the woman, the child involved, the child in the entire conversation is not seen as a human being. She's just more or less a tool for battle, for the
Commodity.
edification. Yes, a commodity for the edification of her culture, of her family, for the enjoyment of a new partner. With no, so she's basically not an entity in the whole of this dynamic.
Thank you so much. That was really insightful. It was a beautiful way to start.
Thank you.
So now we can look at the how can we challenge those cultural traditions that support how can we challenge those cultural traditions that support FGM while still empowering communities to protect and value girls. We cannot hear you. We cannot hear you.
Can you hear me
Yes.
now?
Yes, 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 yes.
Okay. Okay. So first and foremost, nothing can happen without acknowledge. We first and foremost, we society has to first acknowledge that FGM and these issues, they are actually a problem. Only when they acknowledge first and foremost that it is a problem, then we can now have a sit down and what are we going to do. So first and foremost, there has to be acknowledgement. Yesterday I was opportune to sit with a boardroom of people from the NHS, and I was talking about FGM. I'm like, you cannot tell somebody something is not a crime until they acknowledge that it's a crime. And even when they do not acknowledge, it is our responsibility to first and foremost let them know that this is a crime. So first and foremost, there has to be acceptance and acknowledgement that FGM is actually a crime, an abuse of a woman's human rights. And then, having done that, the first thing we start with the leadership, community leaderships. These laws, not like religion, most of these laws were created by men for men. Why was FGM done? FGM was also done for men, for men, by men for men. So yes, we first have to start with, from the community leaders. There has to be advocacy, loud advocacy, violent advocacy, active advocacy to educate everybody on what FGM does to the survivors, not victims, to the survivors, not just survivors, victims. And then once they have been notified of what it is, we have to invite the survivors themselves. The victims have to be in these arrangements. So society needs to hear their opinions. Society needs to hear, because the bad thing about FGM, for instance, the bad thing when I tell people that sometimes I wrote an article and I said, I wish I did not have my two hands. I wish my two legs were cut off. I wish my eye was cut off. Because when you see that I do not have two hands, you will not need me to explain to you that I am disabled. You will not need me to tell you you see, they're looking at me that somebody cut off my hands. And then you will be more empathetic to my plight. When I tell you that, you will not expect me to do certain things because you know that I do not have the hands to do it. Or you will not expect me to see certain things because you know I do not have the eyes to see it. But FGM is a disability that is not seen. But the fact that you do not see my disability does not mean I am not disabled, because I suffer all of the problems of that disability. And that disability makes me unable to function in the capacity that you want me to function. So that you do not see does not mean I don't have that problem. So when women with FGM are unable to explain, because even when we explain, people don't understand. I cannot do this because I am this. So first and foremost, community and society have to be made aware of what these people, what people who have FGM have undergone, and why we are the way we are. Do you understand? So once they have been made known, there has to be inclusion, there has to be spaces made to ensure that these survivors have an opportunity to air their grievance. A lot of FGM survivors have pent up rage, like me. You see, when I start up, I'm angry. I'm angry at people. I'm angry at my family. I'm angry at society. I'm angry at a lot of people for making me the way I am. But they don't, or people don't understand where my rage is coming from. So we have to invite survivors, we have to invite mothers, we have to invite the youth, we have to invite elders, we have to talk, we have to invite religion. Why are religious leaders not talking about it? Why can't they talk about it? Because of stigma. Women are still ashamed. Why does this stigma still exist? It's because culture made it so. So we have to, first and foremost, we have to acknowledge, we have to enlighten society, we have to make spaces for survivors to be able to air their opinions, air their pain, speak about their plight without fear of judgment. This is, and then having done that, we as a society also have to make plans, because the thing FGM is not reversible. I cannot wake up today and say because I cannot wake up today and say my clitoris will grow back. I cannot wake up one day that I wake up and say, okay, if I pray hard enough, my labia minora will suddenly magically wake up and it's back there. No. Why religion? And because this is where religion now comes in. Many religious, which is the problem a lot of FGM survivors go through. When they complain about FGM, people tell them, pray. Have you prayed about it? And I ask, how am I going to pray for my clitoris that was thrown inside the dustbin to suddenly magically go back into my body? Do you understand? So this is where enlightenment comes in. That it is not a spiritual thing, it is a physical thing. So the survivors have to be given closure. There has to be opportunity for them to not only speak, then there should also be resources by way of therapy. Because, of course, not everybody can afford vaginoplasty, but there has to be opportunities, spaces dedicated for these survivors to be able to talk and cry. Because a lot of us want to cry. I can't count how many times I've cried, but when I started talking online, I began to see that my own tears was not even as important as the tears of other young women who follow me. Girls come to my DM, they are crying. Many are ashamed to even tell their partners that they have FGM. Their partners have been complaining about so many things. It's not just a sexual problem. It affects mentally. It affects physiologically. Many of us cannot have children. Many of us have infertility issues because of FGM. When I had my son, because of the FGM, because of the type of FGM that I had, mine was so bad that I tore. I don't know if TikTok can allow these conversations. So I tore so badly and I had to be stitched. After being stitched, once my down there is a little bit, guess what? My body begins to emit something like farts. Like you hear, when I try to say that, you hear, people around me would think that I farted. But I did not fart. It was because of the FGM that happened to me. So yes, when somebody is asking what is FGM, FGM is female genital mutilation, what we call female circumcision. So yes, and there have to be opportunities for not just to talk. Society should make resources available for these people to have some form of rehabilitation, therapy, resources in whatever capacity. So yes.
Now I'm feeling like we don't know as much as we should know about FGM. Like having this conversation now, I feel like we don't. Even me, there are some things that I do not know. So there is not enough information out there about these things. There is not enough enlightenment about these things. And sadly, in so many countries, I think it still exists, especially in Africa. We still have people that go through with it now secretly. Sorry.
Yes, even about a few weeks ago, a child died in Kenya because of FGM. A child, and people took to the streets to protest. If you see the tools with which they do this FGM, they are crude instruments, razor blades, very crude instruments, and done by people who don't even have a medical degree, old women, many of them who are even blind, and in the end, they end up cutting what they are not supposed to cut. And there's in some cultures, even in Nigeria, some parts of Delta State, Kwale, the FGM is not done to the child. It's done when either when the lady wants to marry or when she's about to have her first child. Imagine someone who has been mutilated going into a honeymoon. How do you have coitus with a saw in your? Just try to imagine that somebody caught you while you are still sore and you are going to a honeymoon. You are getting married 2 days before your wedding. Imagine the type of pain that such a person has to go through. So these are the issues that still go on. And because our society, like even now, a lot of people still don't even the sufferers, a lot of the people who suffer FGM that have a lot of problems do not understand that the reason why they are going through those problems, low self-esteem, infertility, so many things, fistulas and all of that, it's because of the FGM. Because there's no awareness, there's no education. So they are unable to trace it back to them. But people like me, because I did a lot of extensive research in the area, and then so a lot of them praise it, that the reason why they are not promiscuous is because they were circumcised. I was also taught that, I was told that growing up all through my life that if get with the no circumcised, it too they spoil. They stay house. But I grew up to understand that that is a lie. So you have with education, you now begin. And so when a woman believes that when she also has a child, a daughter, a girl child, she will do the same to her child, thinking I'm helping you so that you will not be promiscuous. And I remember once when I told my mom, I was trying to explain to her that at the time I was becoming bold. I was like, Mommy, I'm experiencing a lot of things that, do you know that I've never, okay, for instance, I don't know, we're adults here. I'm Mocho. I'm almost, I've talked about my age. I have never had the big O. I've never had an orgasm. I don't know what it looks like.
And this is because of FGM.
Yes.
And
I've never had it.
And it's like a popular effect of FGM. So that means that almost every girl who has had FGM probably has never had.
Yes. It takes only a few. In all the research that I've done, I've only met, I think, 1 or 2 women who say they had. And I was looking at how. And when they were trying to explain the process, how they went about it, how they concentrated, how they did this, I was like, okay, you know what? So I've accepted that I might never experience in this lifetime. Yes. So to tell you how, like, that if they try, like, I think that they've had it like once or twice. They weren't even sure. Like, I think they've had it like once or twice. Like, wow, like, that they did this, they went like this, and you say, okay, you know what? So a lot of us have made up our mind that we might never ever have it in this lifetime, and so that is the major effect of FGM. Because the main organ that is responsible for a woman's pleasure, the pleasure powerhouse of the female anatomy, was chopped off. And not just that one, all the surrounding ones were chopped off. And in some cases, not only is it chopped off, they are like the type 3 FGM. There are 4 different types. The most popular is type 1, type 2, and type 3. Mine is type 2, but there's one called type 3, which is the clitoridectomy, where everything is sewed off. Like, if this is a biro, everything will be sewed off. Everything will be sewed. The entire area will be sewed off, leaving only this place, just here, just this, a very tiny place, just for her to be able to pee. So imagine, how can somebody who has that type live a reasonable quality of life? So those are the issues.
You see, now I'm seeing the reason why you're saying this is very broad topic. This is a really broad, detailed topic that we need to talk about more often, so women can have this awareness. Not a lot of people know all these things.
And more important, even after all of the education, there should be, because I know even in Nigeria, there's been banned, or there's some hospitals banned. They ban, there's already a ban on it, but people still do it on the low. Women still do it on the low. So other than even the enlightenment, there should be law enforcement. The laws are there, but I'm yet to see somebody that was arrested and went to jail for committing FGM on a child. I'm yet to see somebody that has been arrested. So the laws are there, but is it enforced? So the government needs to take more proactive steps in ensuring that, to set a precedent. So person was arrested and has been sentenced to 10 years imprisonment for mutilating another woman and of course it will go a long way to push the narrative that this is a crime that should not be done. So and also again loopholes. Now I'm taking it into child marriage. Loopholes in countries that allow child marriages should be removed. This is 2025. Why are people still marrying children? So there's also many things that need to be talked about.
Thank you so much. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
The second thing we need to look at is the effective ways to ensure that girls have access to education, to economic opportunities that can protect them from early marriage. What are the effective ways to ensure that girls have access to education and to economic opportunities that protect them from early marriage?
Well, first and foremost, why does society not allow girls to be married? First and foremost, why does society invalidate, or why does society see a girl's education as not important? Those are the first. Let's even start from there. Why? Because again, it's a cultural thing. It's a thing for misogyny. Meanwhile, the same society knows, society cannot tell me, even in 2025, they are not aware that it is more beneficial to train a girl child, to train one girl child, than to train 10 boys. Society cannot, nobody, because if they did not know, families will not be praying. I keep saying, a lot of people, even before they get married, couples, men and women, even before they even meet each other, a man and a woman, even before they meet each other, they are already planning on, I pray I have a girl as a first child. Almost everybody. I'm yet to see somebody that said, no, I want to have a boy as a first child. No, they want a girl as a first child, and then because they know the Chinese ways say, "Hui get time and die like red hot." I'm going to Chinese, so let me say what I was saying. They know the importance of having a girl as a child. They know. Nobody, even a madman, knows. But why do they still prioritize it? These are the issues. Because at the end of the day, patriarchy does not want a woman to win. Simple. The long and short of it. Patriarchy thrives on using women. Patriarchy thrives on subjugating women. Because patriarchy knows that when a woman is empowered, when a woman is made aware of her powers, when a woman is educated, she's a threat to everybody. Look at us. I want us to commend ourselves as women. Even with all the loopholes, with all the challenges that women have to undergo, all the roadblocks put in place of every woman from the day she was born, yet we are thriving. Yet look at you and I. Look at people on this live. We are here talking about a conversation by ourselves. Nobody. You set up this panel, right? And how many men set up panels like this to talk about the issues in society? Right now you are a nursing mother, but you have set up a panel. You built a community within a few years. You built a community of women. Every day you come out here, you teach people. Only you, Onyechi Blossom, you teach people all over the world to know their rights. You empower women just by your voice alone. Isn't that something to be amazed about? Isn't that something powerful? How many men do what you are doing? How many men are doing what you are doing right now? They don't have a baby. Many of them even have wives that take care of the family. But are they doing what you are doing? You are doing this. You are holding your family. You are not only managing your family, you are managing the online space. You are changing lives in your own way. And that is exactly what patriarchy does not want. But in spite of all their loopholes, here you stand. So yes, but they do not want women to be empowered. The entire aim is all gender inequality. The patriarchy loves that economic disempowerment. Patriarchy wants us down. So yes, how do we ensure that girls have access to education? First and foremost, we have to remove the financial barriers. Most of these families, many families are low-income families. Low-income families in the sense that poor people they born pass. Now poor people they born children pass. So when people who are from low income regions have children, the first thing is to prioritize the the position of the, because as far as they're concerned, the male child is the one who is going to carry on the family. He's going to carry on the family name. And this thing, and it's not just only in low income families, even in China. If you know China, there was a time China had this one child rule. For those who don't know, there was a time China had this one child rule, and when China did it, because they were overpopulated, they were undergoing a lot of economic issues. So China brought up I think Babangida came up with such a law in Nigeria at some point. So China came up with this one child rule. So when China told, so you can only have one child. Naturally, what families would do, okay, since I can only have one child, it makes sense for me to have a boy child. So many families were adopt. So when the woman gets pregnant and she gives birth, once they discover that the child is a female child, they abort her, or they go and dump her in a particular location in one of the provinces in China, and the child is left to rot and die. Until now, right now, China has an imbalance. They have a predisponence of men over women. It's almost like 8 men to 1 woman, and they're trying to change the status quo. So first and foremost, when the financial barriers are not there, at least it will remove that problem. So government should try to first and foremost by abolishing school fees. The issues of school fees, because when families can, even when, again, we know again that even when government does free school fees, now family will value girl picking, then go see train and go school, even when there's no so first of all, the financial barriers should be removed. And then government should provide scholarships, which is one of the things I pray that this our feminism will be able to do for us in future. Not just for us to talk and be performative, because we are doing a lot of talk, and we still need to do more. First, remove the financial barriers. Secondly, educate society on the importance of raising a girl child. When you train one girl child, you train a community. The day they gave birth to you, Onyechi Blossom, your family gave birth to you, but today you are raising a community. You are raising a community of people all over the world. I just had a conversation not 30 minutes ago with somebody from Australia. I didn't even know the woman was in from Australia. She just sent me a message. I was okay, and I spoken to her. She was crying, and in our own little ways, we are touching lives of people all over the world, just like that. So when you raise a woman, you raise a community. But when you raise a man, you train one man. The benefit is only for him and his wife. Once you don't hustle, buy 1 3-bedroom apartment, buy one small motor. If you get money, you buy one small land. But when you raise a woman will take care of her immediate family, take care of her family where she's coming from, take care of the husband's family, take care of the church, take care of her street, set up an agency, take care of children. It's extensive. So society needs to be made aware of the importance of raising the girl child, even in 2025. And then secondly, we should provide scholarship opportunities and stipends for girls. I'm hoping organizations will be able to join this conversation. We should be able to, and I'm putting this out for people in the chat, people who are watching this live. In what way can we provide scholarships for girl children? Provide stipends. Are there people who are providing books, buying just to encourage the girl child to, encourage families to train the girl child more? And then also we should also do in schools, we should have kind of like incentives. That, okay, imagine somebody go like all these public schools now, and people who come to school, girl children who come to school, because I'm sorry, I don't talk about boys because men have all these things for them, but the gap is too much for the girl child. So because the girl child is unable to attain all of this, the easiest target is just for her to get married. Don't just marry, you enjoy it from your family, enjoy it from your husband. No, then when tomorrow the marriage ends, what happens?
Yeah, sorry, I wanted to chip in something. In the North, there is this, they reduce their score, like JAM score or something, as an incentive for them to go to school, because most Northerners, like far North, like Kano, Katsina, they don't really value education. So they don't really want to go to school. So they have to give them incentive by reducing their JAM score, reducing the quality of education, so that they can motivate them to want to go. So in that light, I feel like they should have more incentive for women to go to school, so that parents can be more motivated to send their girl child to school. Like giving them, probably if there is a school that pays 100%, they give them 50% discount for every girl child that comes to school. And just an incentive to I don't know, motivate the girl child to go to school.
Yes.
I think that would be very, very
When I
nice.
started, very, very beautiful. When I studied Chinese language in Anambra, there was something the Chinese people do. A lot of people now are learning Chinese. Why did the Chinese people do it? When they started teaching Chinese language in Ekulobia, Oko Poly, and Unizik, when the Chinese people came with the Chinese language, it was free of charge. Every morning they'll cook a big bowl of rice, jollof rice, and drinks, and put it in Confucius lab. People were going to eat rice. People were going to eat rice and learn Chinese language. So when you go to learn, so even if you don't want to learn Chinese, when you go there and see jollof rice, before you know, that was how people started picking up the interest. And then the next thing, China started sending people from Nigeria to China on scholarship. Once you're able to get up to HSK4 and you speak good Chinese, you're able to do your Koyu, bagam, they send you to China. So people will not be in China, they'll not be seeing their mates. So that these school people that did not take the language seriously, everyone started learning Chinese. Right now, China, because the interest is there, China has withdrawn all. They don't cook rice anymore. They don't send scholarship anymore. But people are now learning Chinese language. That is the same thing. When government makes these incentives, and it's not just only government, this call is not just only for government, because the government is swamped. Private individuals, organizations, churches,
People like
agents.
us, we
Yes,
can do for as little as we can. We just
yes,
help someone get to school, help a girl
get
child
to school.
understand the importance of education, help a girl child go to
Yes.
school.
Simple. And not just
Empower.
even when you do that, even provide menstruation pads. You can even create separate toilets, even in schools, for girls. When they know that they do not, especially those in the north, they do not have to share a toilet, with the male child. Make provisions that make her feel included, that make her feel seen. Also provide pads, provide menstruation pads for girls. This provides cute handbags, cute school bags, cute sandals, and then those that go to the school, those that are doing well in school, you make incentives. You provide, maybe like in the class there are girls who are doing very well. You provide incentives. Oh, she got 500,000. Oh, she's going to visit. She's going to be flown to this place. Immediately, you see everybody will start competing. I did that competition when I was in Chinese school. When I was in Chinese school, as at the time I entered Chinese school, there was no girl leading as a Chinese language student. There was no girl. It was just like guys. And because of this thing, it became so prevalent that a lot of the girls already felt that now boys they lead. Until I entered. When I entered, I brought a kind of a competition. I started, and before you know, some other girls said, follow me. Before you know, because one thing women know how to do, we like to compete with ourselves. I love it with women. It's not really a negative competition. We motivate each other to be better. Once a girl goes to school and sees that within a few years that this her friend went to school, suddenly she's in this place, suddenly her life, guess what? Other people will be motivated to join. Other families will begin to push their daughters. And then also they should not even just provide pay school fees. There should be like accessibility. There are people who live in rural communities that do not have access to go. Maybe the school is in another town. Can we provide transport opportunities to pick girls from their location to the schools? Even in small
I'm
ways.
here. I'm here. Sorry,
Yeah,
I'm not
it's all right. It's all right.
anymore, but I'm here. Yeah.
It's all right. It's all right. We should also create boarding options. There should be boarding options for schools. Apart from accessibility, those who cannot be going. Imagine somebody going to school from one village. I've seen people go to school, spend almost like 1 hour to get to school. Some even more. These things should be there. There should be transport. There should be make good roads, just to encourage families, especially from these rural communities, to attend school. And this school, it should not even just be for young girls. This school should even be for teenage mothers. Even that a woman is a teenage mother does not mean the family can still not send her to school. She has because she's a teenage mother. There should be opportunities for her to get back to school. There should be programs designed to care for these women. And then more importantly, we should engage the parents and the communities, because there's nothing we can say if the parents are not aware. If the community does not agree, at the end of the day, the girl cannot force herself to go to school. I've seen girls that ran away from their community and ran away to Lagos, ran from the north, ran away, because I grew up in the north. They ran away from their community, ran away to Lagos, ran away to cities just to have education. And many of them are doing well. But not everybody can do that. So it is imperative, and many of them would, even if they had to do it, they do not want to do it. So they need the support of their families ultimately. The families, the communities. We should provide awareness by educational, by both online awareness, both physical awareness. Carry go carry loudspeaker if you have to shout it. This is 2025. It is dangerous right now. It's very, very dangerous for the girl child to not be educated. It is very dangerous. And then more importantly, there should be apart from me, there was something when I was a banker. There was this even okay, like the Chinese now. There are incentives. If you do well, you get this. If you do well, you get this. Even in the banking sector, it's there. If each branch, let's say we are all members of a branch. We are all part of Stanbic IBTC. We are all part of First Bank. Each branch, we are all answering First Bank, but the bank rewards individuals based on each branch based on their performance. So when we not only encourage communities to help girls, to push girls, there should also be metrics. There should also be monitoring metrics to monitor communities that have improved. Let's say the government should set up like parameters to be able to monitor how much progress these communities have made. Let's say we do an awareness campaign today. Okay, at this particular stage, only 60 girls in this community have secondary school education. We say, okay, we have taught you, the government provides this incentive. There should also be parameters to check. 3 months' time, one year time, which community now has the hypes based since our last interaction? Which community has moved from 60% to 100%? Which community has moved from 80% to 150%? Okay, as last time we came to educate you people, you only 60 girls here did pass their WAEC. By the time we come back a year time, now 100 girls have passed their WAEC. That means there's progress, right? And then you reward these communities. When committee A, see, the leader of committee A notice is giving 2 million naira just because the girls in his community. Do you think next year he wants to stay on that 100? No. He will. The girls that 100 by next year, that 100 girls will move to 200 girls. Yes or no? And in other communities that that saw the reward that committee A got, just by encouraging, guess what they do? They themselves will push, and that is how a society grows. There should be reward systems, and and then also more importantly, we should penalize schools. We should arrest people that encourage child marriages. We should penalize schools, arrest principals.
Parents should know that
them.
they don't own their children to make those kind of harmful decisions. Yes. It's like social services abroad. They arrest, like there are some things you do to your child and you'll be arrested. So you also know that you are a parent and you have a responsibility to protect that child. And if you fail, the government will arrest you.
Yes. These are the things. These are just some of the ways that we can help. And also even religion, because in all of this, let's talk about religion. In all of this, there's nothing we are going to do if we are not talking about religion. Because one of the major reason why these problems continue to fester is because of religion. By religion, I mean all religion. Is it even pagan religion, Islamic religion, Christian religion, Hindu religion? If you look at all of these religions, they all have one. Traditionalists, they all have one underlying trend: subjugation of women. All of them. So, each of these religions preaches that a woman should stay behind her husband, stay behind your husband, sacrifice for the children, sacrifice for the family. So, while the world is moving forward, the woman is stuck in one place, raising children. The world is not going to wait for her. By the time her children have grown, she's economically disadvantaged, mentally disadvantaged, academically disadvantaged. Where does she start from? So, it is imperative for religious leaders to tackle these issues, to encourage their members to stop promoting the sacrifice of women at the expense of her life. Right? Churches should begin to encourage even married women to encourage their husbands to allow their wives explore educational opportunities, allow their wife attain some form of independence, not by open 50,000 naira, open one provision store and tell her to sit down there. Meanwhile, from that provision store, the whole family is eating from that. That is not the business we're talking about. Not come and be managing my business. That is not the business we're talking about. Can we educate our women? Because education is empowerment.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Now we are going to move a little
Hello?
bit to. Yes, can you hear me?
Hello?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, I think the audio has gone. Okay. Good.
Can everybody
So
else
these are
hear
the
me?
issues.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? No. Can everybody
Yes, I
else
can
hear
hear you.
me?
I can hear you.
You
I
can
can
hear
hear
me?
you.
Okay. So I want us to move a little bit to gender-based violence. How can we move beyond
Okay.
awareness and create real accountability and safety system for survivors of gender-based violence? So we need to move a bit, and I love this one because you always talk about it's not all about talking. How can we move beyond the awareness that we create about
Yes,
these
so
issues and talk about accountability and safety for the survivors? How can we take action when it comes to gender-based violence?
well, first reason why gender-based violence continues to fester is because of laws. It's not that the laws are not there. It's not that the laws are not there, but the laws are not being they're not being enforced. And there are many, apart from not being enforced, there are several loopholes that allow people-based violence. Gender-based violence is any form of, for those who don't know here, gender-based violence is any form of violence that a person does to another person on the basis of their gender. It could be emotional, it could be financial, it could be physical, it could be mental, in different ramifications. And because women are usually the receiving end of this violence, it's actually why we use gender-based violence to talk about women and how it affects women. Not that men do not undergo gender-based violence. But in this instance, we are talking about women, gender-based violence, especially at being that we are the recipients of gender-based violence from men, over 85%. So it is imperative for us to have these issues. So I hope this is clear. So yes, the first thing is not that there are no laws that says do not attack your wife, do not beat a woman, do not harm a woman. These laws are there, but the laws are not strong because again, most of these laws were made by men. Globally, how many women occupy legislature? How many women are in rooms of lawmaking? So at the end of the day, these laws against gender-based violence they are there, but they are not strong. And you cannot expect your oppressor to make laws that will benefit you. All right? So first and foremost, let us strengthen the legal systems. The legal system should pay more extra attention to laws about the existing laws. There are several loopholes that allow violators, that allow these perpetrators to go scot-free. So the laws should be strengthened in a way that perpetrators are able to be penalized. Not just penalized or someone. Imagine a man who cut off a woman's hand. We've seen instances where men pour acid on women, do horrible things, and nothing is done to them. So they just sometimes maybe they just say we've seen instances where a man will beat his wife bloody, and when he gets to the police station, the police will ask him, what thing you do? Now your husband, make una go settle down for house. A woman has been battered, and she runs to the police station, and the police will they'll still send you back to your abuser. Because why? Because most of the abusers are men. Even the legal or the people in the authority, the police officers are also men. So if there's anything men have in common, is camaraderie. Men protect other men, and they'll send you back against you. So the law should be strengthened. The police, the law enforcement agencies should be educated. And it's even sad because yes, most of the law enforcement agents are actually police officers, they are men, but there are also women who will still tell you, you the way they look you look very stubborn. Wetin you do your husband when make am beat you? And she will not take the side of the woman and even make her feel worse and still send her back. So it's not just it's not just only men that
Society is
do
broken.
not
Society is
help gender-based
broken.
victims. Society is broken. So yes, so the police, the prosecutors, the judges, all need to be educated, and not just educated. First and foremost, strengthen the legal system, remove every loophole that allows perpetrators to go scot-free. If you begin to, there's so many. If I begin talking about this instance of sex, gender, like the law is so. The law. Let's even talk about the law. The gender-based violence it did not just start today. Right now, we just gave it a name. If you go through history, there's been so many things that go through all history, go through the wars, go to the wars in Bosnia Herzegovina. Look at the Rwandan genocide. Look at the Sino-Japanese war, the war between China and Japan. Look at all the wars in history. Look at all of them. In each of all of these wars, women were fought. I did a research. I have research that I did the whole of 2023. I did research on rape as a tool of genocide. I did rape as a tool of war, rape as a tool of conflict. It's so bad that if a war were to break out in Nigeria right now, men will leave men and carry the wars on the bodies of women. They will leave the war. They will leave the house, and they will begin to rape women to promote the war. Why? Because as far as a man is concerned, when he rapes a woman, it affects her husband. So I will rape you as insult to your husband, using me as your battlefield. What did I do? Do you understand? Because they know they cannot attack other men. So it is the easier victim is who? Is the woman. So this is where education comes in. Not just education. Again, we're talking about accountability now, right? Look at all of these wars that I mentioned. In all of these wars, let's even just talk about the Rwandan genocide. The Rwandan genocide happened between the Hutus and the Tutsis. And in all of this, women, more than millions of women were raped, killed brutally. And after the entire war, of course, the United Nations set up a panel to investigate and to punish the people who actually carried out these crimes. If I tell you, since that time, I think this was 19 till date, not a single person has been prosecuted. All of these wars, if you Google, there's something called the comfort women of Japan, where women were used to, the government will pack women, go into a community, pack women, lock them somewhere, and pack men, and men will just be sleeping with them as they rape them to give them motivation to go and fight the war. Comfort women of Japan. Who talks about them? Nobody. All of these women many of them died, but nobody even talks about it. Nobody even acknowledges these issues, even just to at least give these women closure. The same way it is with the Rwandan genocide. All the women that died, all the women that were raped.
Even in Congo right now, it's going on in Congo right now.
Not a single. Even in Congo, exactly. What's happening in Congo is what happened in Rwanda. It keeps going on because it will keep going on because nobody, even at the end of all of this, nobody is going to be prosecuted. That's why they keep doing it. So there needs to be law. At the end of this, there needs to be law that holds people, that makes it a serious crime to rape a woman, to attack a woman, to harm a woman. There needs to be laws in place. The laws are there, but is it being enforced? So the government and the agencies and all the parastatals need to make concerted effort to enforce these laws.
So speaking of laws, do you think the current laws are enough, or we need more laws?
We need the laws are not enough.
Laws are enough, or we need more laws, or we just need to work with what we already have and make sure that it is enforced?
No, we need more laws. The laws need to be expanded, and because each of the current laws have a lot of technicalities that allow oppressors to go scot-free. The laws are there. All you need is to get a lawyer. Yes, there's so many loopholes that allow them to get scot-free. So the laws need to be strengthened. These loopholes need to be managed, and then more laws need to be made, and not just made, they need to be enforced. One thing is to make law, one thing is to enforce the law. So the laws need to more laws need to be made. The already existing laws need to be strengthened to block off the loopholes, to block off technicalities, and then again, of course, make more laws, and then also train the people who who enforce the laws, the judges. How do you imagine going to a court to tell a judge that you've been raped? Meanwhile, the judge is a male, is a man who himself is a secret rapist. Do you understand? So how do you? So there's no way he's going to identify with your case. So of course, let's use instances of. So when women have to, yes, someone just said the legal system is flawed. Yes, the legal system is flawed. It is broken, like you said. So the law need to be
Sorry, I'm sorry to
opportunities where
cut you,
women
but
should be able to choose
I'm sorry to cut you. Because we are talking of the legal system, I think we need to talk about the role that men play to ending this thing. Because we cannot, with all this conversation, we are aware that the system is governed, like it is men in the system, the police, the lawmakers, the
yes.
how do we enact this change with these men? What role can they play as men to protect women instead of actively make these laws and enforce these laws that have loopholes, even though they know, because they support gender-based violence and harmful practices against women? So how can we, I don't know, what's that practical way to hold these men accountable and to make sure that and I don't think men should be making these laws to make women get into the level of getting into these positions where they can protect women by making laws that protect women. And also for men that will be in this position, what work needs to be done to their brain to ensure that they are there for justice, equality, and rights, regardless of your gender? Like, what is the role that men need to play to end this gender-based violence and harmful practices? Because we will always live with men and they'll always be part of society, and they need to play a role in ending this, and we need to hold them accountable. So I'm looking for like practical ways that we can do that, and also to ensure
Number
that
one,
women are
first and
also in
foremost,
those roles where women can hold men accountable too, because they are also high when it comes to hierarchy.
it starts first and foremost, it starts from the home. It starts from the minute, even before we get to the stage of laws. When you look at our society today, why do men do the things they do? It's because of this promotion of toxic masculinity that culture promotes. Culture promotes that men are masculine, they are tough, they are men don't cry, men don't weep, men are tough, women are the soft ones, we are the gentle one, we are the meek one. Toxic masculinity. So it's why you see today when a man cries, he's look like, why they do like woman, as in a derogatory sense. So first and foremost, as a culture, as a society, we need to begin to disabuse this notion of we need to begin to remove toxic masculinity, and it starts from our children. It starts from the minute a boy child is born, because when you give birth to a boy child, the way parents raise boy children is different from the way they raise a girl child. We should begin to teach boys from a very early age that toxic masculinity is not it. We should begin to raise our boys with empathy, with love, to stand up for others. Empathy, kindness is a virtue, not a weakness. So when you begin to raise your boys, when I look at my son, there are things that he does, I feel proud, because I know, even if I die today, I don't pray to die today, I'm confident that I have raised a man that that can burn a building down for a woman. He can go to war for a woman that he does not even know. So when that things he do, okay, I said, this is my child. This is my thing. So that is how it starts. You cannot make misogynistic comments in front of my son. You cannot do it now. How? He will talk. If not fight, you not go fight. And that is where it starts from. So Every woman, every man, every parent, first and foremost, should begin to educate their son on the virtues of empathy, virtues of kindness, not camaraderie with their fellow men, empathy for the other gender, empathy for humans, for women. And then to also see women not as a weaker vessel, like religion continues to promote. Mind, religion is religion that said women should not speak. Women are weaker vessels. It is imperative for us to teach our sons that women, every woman around you is not weaker to you. A woman is not inferior to you. And you and every woman is equal. Once a boy has that mentality, have you not observed? You say a boy. A boy, you'll be standing. You, a woman, will stand. Another younger man will stand with you. A boy will pass. He will greet that boy. He will ignore you. Have you observed it? Because he does not recognize you as an equal partner. He does not see you but he recognizes other men. And that is how it is. So it started from childhood. He grows up with that mentality. So which is why when he says something wrong and a woman challenges him, he feels, what is wrong with you? And he attacks physically. So he should be taught from childhood. And then also, we should begin to promote positive masculinity. We should use role models who speak. We should look for good role models. Imagine, now when we talk about role models, the next people begin to point people like Solomon Buchi. Is Solomon Buchi a role model? Is Gege a role model? But these are the people that they see. The positive men who have good values are not talking on social media. Is these riffraffs, these hungry men, these empty men who have nothing to contribute, who are misogynistic, they are the ones with the microphone on social media, and these are the people that boys see. So we need to encourage men who have sense, men who are sympathetic to the plight, men who are confident in their masculinity. Solomon Buchi is not confident in his masculinity. Gege is not confident in his masculinity. We need to see positive representations of men on social media. Men who talk with sense, men who are not misogynistic, men who do not pretend to be allies to the feminist cause just because of their pockets, just because they want to make money. We need men who know what they are all about. These are the people we need to see on social media. And then also we should also show men who go out of their way to help women, who go out of their way to support women with finances, with their resources, who give women a platform to speak, not from a place of superiority. These are what, and then more importantly, we should hold men accountable. Not imagine women, something will happen and you see people, it's okay, and just, no. Perpetrators of gender-based violence should be held accountable. They should be made to face the full wrath of the law. I remember a few years ago, about 2 years ago, there was this doctor that committed rape and the wife exposed him. I think she saw the charge. The wife testified against him and he went to jail. And people were against this woman. What are you going to tell your children? What are you going to tell? Do you know you have lost your husband? And the family, everybody was against this woman. No. You understand? The men who commit crimes should be made to face the penalty. As a wife, you're not supposed to protect them. As a sister, you're not supposed to protect your brothers. Imagine where a society where a girl would know that her brother abused her friend, but the following day she's eating from the same plate with that brother. Do you understand? So when perpetrators of gender-based violence know that they cannot get away with it because their family members will rat them out. For instance, I remember a few years ago when my son was growing up. Back then, when I come from a society where this thing Yahoo is very prevalent. Everybody's doing Yahoo. And from when he was growing up, I told him, I said, I don't have money, but if you bring money that I do not know where it's come from, it's not me, I don't know who you brought it for. I don't want it. I rather starve. He grew up with that mindset. I said, I'd rather eat so gari and beans with you than for me to eat wealth that I don't know where it came from. All his friends do Yahoo. Back then, and that's how he cut off from all of them. And that has been what that is what my young man carries today. So this education starts from childhood. we imbue our male children with, because society is always teaching girls, be a good wife, be a good sister, we're always teaching girls at the expense of men. Nobody's teaching these men these things. Society needs to teach men to be better. And then we should also, and again, even as all of this, again, I understand that with the rise of misandry, it's inevitable to not be a misandrist. When you see the things that are happening, come on, the only way to go is misandry. But in all of this, we should also recognize that even in these feminist conversations, we cannot do this job alone. We still need to partner with men to push this agenda. I don't know if I'm communicating. Yes, Bob Mommy, Mocho is on live. Oh, I've been talking. Yes, Mocho is on live. Yes. So yes, we need to partner with men, provide them with education, to see us as allies. The same way we also see them as allies. We should align with men who share genuine feminist ideals, to help us. Because at the end of the day, and more importantly, we should, as a society, we should promote, and this is something I actually even want to talk about. If you look at culture in our society now, 80% of lawmakers are men. Can we use our platforms to encourage other women to step out, to join government, to become part of government? Because at the end of no matter what we talk about, if we do not have relevant representation in the house or in government, this journey will still be very slow. So even as we are using men as allies, we should also encourage other women to step out for political positions. I know, and again, we know it is going to be difficult, but whenever a woman steps up, very kindness again, like for men to other women, and then also we should also hold men accountable. A man commits a crime, let him do time. Do not go and don't go and say. It's actually even sad. I remember back then in my community, some men raped a lady. No, they killed a lady. A lady was doing. They killed her. They raped her and killed her, and they arrested them. It was their mothers that sold land to bring them out from jail. The mothers sold the land, brought them, paid police, and brought them out of jail and sent them abroad to South Africa. Yes. Yes. So men, that he's your child does not mean he's above the law. If your male child commits a crime, let him go do time. Let him pay the crime. It rids the community. It rids the society of one less miscreant. So, and more importantly, we should also learn to engage men as allies, not as bystanders. Even as we're talking about feminism, the men should be brought into the conversation. Men who have sense, not just those
especially
like Gege, like Solomon Bichi and his likes. You understand?
Men in your life,
let men who know what feminism is all about, who support us from the core of their being, let them join the fight, to reduce it. And then we should also, involve men in care roles. It's actually, again, when you involve men in care roles, how many men have raped the people in their, oh my God. But yes, men should also feature in anti-GBV, gender-based violence campaigns. When we are doing campaigns, when we are doing marches, let other men see other men promoting anti-gender. We should even use videos. We should use local languages. We should, there should be opportunity for even illiterate to be able to understand what we are talking about. So I just want.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you very much for taking your time. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me? Oh, goodness, I think
yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh boy. Thank you, Jeff.
Can you hear me?
Thank you for organizing something as powerful as this.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so
Mm-hmm.
much for taking your time and having these conversations with us. We are going to have more conversations, of course, going forward about abortion and other things we need to discuss or talk about. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for joining Feminist Lens, and thank you for educating us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me. And I keep praying. I say, people have started this work. I pray the
Yeah.
universe to continue to strengthen you people, because people who have given people like us a voice, giving many women that talk today talk because of you. So thank you for bringing for the job you've been doing, and I pray the universe continue to strengthen you and many other influencers. So thank you again for having me.
Thank you. Sorry, what's your handle, and like if people want to find you, because and what you do, what are the topics that you talk about most on TikTok, and what is your handle for people who want to follow you after this conversation?
Okay, my mandate is at tired first daughter, tired first daughter, or Mocho. Mocho is my name, or Tired First Daughter here on TikTok. And then I talk a lot about bodily autonomy. I talk a lot about abortions and why every woman should have the right over her body. I talk a lot about FGM and single parenting, as well as economic empowerment for women. I'm basically all about pro woman, anything that edifies a woman, abortion, FGM, and all the other beautiful stuff. We make the uncomfortable conversations comfortable.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes. 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 Thank you so much. Thank
Thank you for
you.
having me. Thank you so much for
All
having me.
right. Bye.